CHGO White Sox actually not post-game, it's the pregame podcast. Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Hi, this is our beautiful faces here in the West Loop of Chicago. Those guys are unfamiliar to you. They should be familiar to you. These are the one half of the Chicago sports bums. But before I get to that, I'll introduce them in a second. We have a very special sale here at CHGO for you baseball fans. If your father is a fan of either of the teams, the White Sox or the Cubs, why not get him a gift and get the second shirt that you're going to get him for half price? It is a CHGO buy one, get one half off sale going on right now. And to guarantee that you get your T-shirt by Father's Day, which I believe is next Sunday, right, Steven?
That's correct.
You need to order by today. Well, actually by tomorrow, but why wait when you can do this all today? Get yourself a Father's Day shirt for yourself and get your daddy one. If he likes the Cubs and you like the Sox, you can just go with that regular CHGO Skyline shirt, which is my favorite. You can see up there in the top right corner. Or you can get him the Bears shirt. Actually, it's for all of our shirts, not just Cubs, Sox. Get him anything that he desires, and I guarantee he will wear this. He won't wear any of your ugly ties or your socks or your underwear you're going to buy him. He's going to wear one of these shirts. So buy one, get one half off going on right now. Get them for Father's Day delivery. You need to order by tomorrow, but why wait? Get them today. Today, Sean, who I'm usually sitting where he's sitting at, he's our usual host, and then where Dougie's sitting is where Vinny Duber usually sits. They look a little different, and this is Herb usually where I sit. Where Jason's sitting is usually where I sit, but we've changed it up. We got the Chicago Sports Bums in the house. Behind the camera, you can't see. We got Johnny and Peter. They're waiting in the wings for the post game. But let's introduce the guys here. This is Jason.
Hey, guys. How you doing? HBIC on Twitter.
Yeah, you can follow him.
Head bum in charge.
There you go, on Twitter. And that guy over there to the left, his name is Dougie. Dougie, where can the people follow you on Twitter?
Dougie Fresh, Dougie Freshness, Douglas M 1986 at Twitter.
And like I said, one half of the Chicago Sports Bums will get to Peter and Johnny in the post game. But I like to ask people who first come on our show, what is your Sox fan origins? What got you started, if you could? Jason, you go first.
So, first off, want to thank you immensely for having us on. We love that you guys brought us on to do this. Awesome. It's a little different from what we usually do. I mean, you guys got all the fancy lights and stuff. I got a little spacey lamp in the background and a ring light. Like this is professional as hell, man. I'm loving it. Sox fan origin, man. I'm born and raised Southside by Midway. I've been a Sox fan my entire life. I joke with you guys that I came out the womb screaming "fuck Jerry." So I mean, that's my Sox origins right there, man. I just been born and raised and been a Sox fan my entire life, and begrudgingly my entire life.
Yeah, it has been a tough go. I didn't have my dad or my mom as White Sox fans, but this dumbass 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid made me a White Sox fan. Want to beat his ass. I want to go back in history and beat his ass. Dougie, yourself, how'd you become a White Sox fan?
So I came to become a White Sox fan in a very untraditional way. My grandma was a massive Cubs fan, and she was like, hey, Chicago baseball. She goes, if you love Chicago baseball or the sport in itself, you got to be a Cubs fan. And, I decided to do the rebel thing and go against her because they were awful then.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I get what you mean. Like, my whole family's like Cubs fans too. Like, it's
absolutely.
I'm man on the hill by myself when it comes to Sox.
Yeah. Did you guys regret your decision now? You should have listened to your grandmother.
No, I don't. My grandma's looking up from the sky right now, like he's still messing with me. So yeah, no, I do not. But
we got 14 likes right now. I like to say Craig Graybeck. Other people like to say Paul Konerko likes. Whatever. But our guy, Matt Zawoski Zoe, Father Zoe, don't even know why I'm super chatting. I think mesmerized by the amount of handsome on the stage. Thank you, Mr. Zawoski. I really appreciate it. He's neighbors with you, right, Peter? Yeah, Peter's, and I think Stevens, they're Southside guys.
Yeah, Palos Hills.
One of the Paloses, Hills, Heights.
One of the many ones.
Park,
Hills.
whatever.
We're Hills.
But let's get into the game. I'm going to get into the games that happened this weekend. Friday night, 2-1 win, walk-off hit by Luis Robert. We got a home run from Yasmani Grandal, did we? Yeah, on Friday. No offense. It's going to be a theme this week. Saturday, White Sox are winning 1-0. We're all thinking, okay, here we go. Liam Hendriks, here we go. Maybe Kendall Graveman. Nah, they bring Joe Kelly in, which I had no problem with at the time. Sure. Joe Kelly gave up the booty. We saw bases loaded, another play by Tim Anderson. Whew, friends. Not only did he get the guy out at home, which he should have, he didn't get the guy out at second or the guy out at first. We just stayed with a bases loaded jam right there. Eventually 5 runs scored for the Marlins. Guys, let me start with you, Dougie. Your thoughts on the weekend as a whole, the White Sox, who have started 6-2 in the month of June. I think they've only scored, 23 runs in this month and have won 6 games miraculously because the pitching staff has been so boss. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on the first 2 games of this Marlins series?
We should be going for a sweep today. And it's very unfortunate that we're not, because now here we are, classic Sunday lineup, and, how's that going to pan out, I am so frustrated with Tim Anderson at this point. I think his nickname is going to ring true soon, TA7, because I think that's where he's going to be batting. I think he's going to be batting in the 7 hole. That's what Pedro Grifol needs to do. He needs to motivate this guy. He gets motivated off of controversy.
He does.
And every time that stick talk happened and, he started arguing with people, all of a sudden his game got elevated. Well, he needs that on both sides, on the batting side and the defensive side, because I'm tired of the announcers, saying, "Oh, look, he made a great play and at least it didn't go in the outfield." Tired of that. He's got to get outs. He's got to be the guy. If he wants to be the guy, you got to be the guy. So.
I hear you. And Jason, your thoughts?
So Friday night, good seeing the walk-off. 6 walk-offs for the Sox this season, most in MLB. Great. But offense wasn't there this whole weekend, obviously. I didn't get a chance to actually watch the game yesterday. I was at a Halloween convention, getting my spooky season early on. But I got to, we went to a tiki bar afterwards, popped on the ESPN app and checking out the game cast. It's like, oh, man, okay, 1-1 ninth. Kopech pitched good. Bullpen pitched good. Joe Kelly's in. What the hell? Bases are loaded. And the writing was on the wall right there. As soon as you saw bases loaded, no out, Joe Kelly's on there in the mound. I was like, this is going to implode. Then I didn't have the game cast on. Everyone on Twitter's blowing up, cursing up a storm on Tim Anderson and motherfuck this, he sucks, da-da-da. And I text Peter right away. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, yeah, he booted a routine ground ball. Should have gotten the guy out. And it's you can't have, when you're in that part of the game, your bases loaded, no out, you can't have those mental lapses. You got to make those, field those ground balls, make those throws. And after that, it's the same thing we see with the Sox, where they can't get past these mental errors. When one person has a lapse in a bad play, they can't overcome it. It just snowballs further and further, and they can never recover. Next thing you know, it's 5-1 and game's over.
Yeah, and like you said, the White Sox are not hitting right now, so the margins are where they're going to win. Yep. You have to pick the ball up. You have to, when there's a guy in scoring position, you have to come through for that person. Scoring only 1 run was probably just an afterthought because of the blow up by Joe Kelly, the Tim Anderson thing. But this has been a theme for this White Sox team with either no power and or no hitting and no runs scored. So this is an issue, a theme that's been going on throughout the year. But luckily, their pitching staff has been so boss this month of June that they won 6 games. Let me get to the bad news. Before today's game, we have, versus the Marlins, the White Sox placed right-hander pitcher Liam Hendriks on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to June 10th, with right elbow inflammation, recalled left-hander Tanner Banks from AAA Charlotte. So we have a little context into why Joe Kelly was in the game instead of Liam Hendriks yesterday. Does that change your thinking on how Pedro used that bullpen yesterday, or does it, does Pedro's bullpen usage as a whole kind of bother you? Let's start with you first, Jason.
So, hearing that now, it makes sense why, Liam wasn't in the 9th inning. Graven wasn't available, so he's kind of I'm stuck with using Joe Kelly in this situation right now, because as Peter mentioned earlier, if they put Lopez in there, we would have been screaming left and right, and maybe the same result would have happened regardless. Santos has been pitching great. Maybe, you want to give him a shot, but do you know if he can handle that kind of pressure at the time? So, but there's a lot of blowback, and I know Dougie has a lot of thoughts on Pedro's management of the bullpen, but I mean, Joe Kelly has not been good in later innings here. You know, I pulled up his stats that he actually in save situation, 9th inning, he's got a 10+ ERA. He's giving up 9 runs, 6 earned runs, but in the 8th inning, he's perfect. No, he's 0 ERA. He's 0 ERA in the 6th, but that 9th inning, he's just not good, and it's just product of Sox not having a deep bullpen at the time, and you know, kind of was just it sucked. That's all I gotta say. I mean, but what are you gonna do? It's Joe Kelly or bust at that point.
Mm-hmm. And Jackie brings up a good point. Roster construction, also big time problem with this team in particular, where you have a lot of designated hitters and a lot of back end bullpen guys, but not a lot of in between and not a lot of depth, especially for the starting pitchers. So yes, this guy Rick Hahn gets no quarter from me, gets no actual pass from me. But Dougie, your problems with Pedro's bullpen usage?
Yeah, So the news today, obviously, changes my thoughts on the whole thing. Also, I'm still kind of in that process where I don't really think Liam is our closer yet. I think it's still closer by committee or whatever until he starts getting into the swing of it and everything like that. I want to see him build back up to where he was. The one thing that I've noticed in going to games, because they don't necessarily show it on TV that often, is Pedro has been really lackluster on getting guys up and ready in time. And I feel like he leaves a lot of guys out there to dry. He leaves that leash a little too long sometimes. And, I mean, knowing what he knew yesterday, I would have had, especially in a one-run game.
Yeah.
Kelly starts getting in trouble. Hey, he's got his 3 batters. Next guy. If you don't produce, next man up. And that's the one thing that he's got to do, regardless of who it is. He's got to be the manager, and he's got to make those tough decisions. He's got to be able to piss people off.
Yeah, and I want to say too, like with the thing with Liam, it sucks because he fought his way back from cancer and the pitch. He never really had a spring training.
No.
And they threw him in there, and now granted, you're not even in spring training, you're not going to have him do a lot of innings, so it's not really an innings thing. But I don't want to say it was kind of expected, but you hope it's not anything worse, because when you do all that, you're not really staying in baseball shape because you're worrying about beating cancer, and then you try to ramp up and do rehab stint in AAA, have an extended spring training or a late spring training, however you want to phrase it, and then you're throwing the games. It kind of sucks, but hopefully it's nothing worse. Hopefully it's just a little soreness. Every time you hear right elbow inflammation, you're thinking Chris Sale thoughts again, and Crochet and everything, the way that they throw, and you hope it's nothing that's going to progress to being worse, and it's just maybe he's just getting used to pitching in full velocity spring in real life games now, and that just a couple days off will make him better, and it's nothing that's going to progress to worse where has to get surgery or something.
We're going to get to the lineup in a second, but let's further Dougie's point. He said TA7, that's what he'll put him in the lineup when he returns from this day off. Anything from you, Jason? Do you think that TA needs to be moved down and off of this leadoff spot?
Yeah, I think he's got to, until he gets his shit together, he can't be leading off anymore. He doesn't have any home run. I think last time he homered was last July or last August, something like that. It's been almost a year since he's got a home run. And you need that high on base guy. He's not doing it. I'm done with the TA Benintendi 1-2. It's good to see that Benintendi's down in the lineup today. But if this is just a regular day off for TA, get your shit together, he cannot be in the leadoff spot going forward. Not until they get that he fixes and figures out whatever's bothering him at the moment. And I don't know. I don't want to get into too much of his personal life. That's all been dragged through on Twitter and everything. And people were saying that was reasons why he was down last year. Oh, he had all that, personal drama and everything like that. So, okay, now it's clear, fresh season, and it's still the same. And maybe he just doesn't want to be here anymore. Maybe he's just sick of the environment. I don't know. I hope that's not the case because, I don't see the Sox trading him at any time soon. That's not going to happen. Everyone's saying well, we'll trade him to the Dodgers. We can get that's where he's going to go. I don't see Rick Hahn just automatically just giving up right away and saying we're going to get rid of TA, and because he's been the spark for our lineup for so long, and he's been so good, and it just sucks seeing what's happened the past year or so with him. But drop him in the order, take the pressure off of him, let him figure his shit out, and then move him back once he's got it corrected.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. He needs to. I've been, banging this drum for a while because of if you're not going to be on base like the 36% of the time that he was, which was mostly driven by his batting average because he was not walking this year. He actually has a career high, I think, of like a 5% walk percentage, which, that's not his game. Right. I like patience, but I don't like passive. Like, that's what I think he is. Like, there's fastballs in the zone. Steven and I all last year, like, there's no scouting report for Tim Anderson, apparently, because they would throw him first ball fastball in the outside zone. Tim would single that ball to right field or hit a home run. That is not happening this year, right, Steven?
Have they adjusted to him, or is he just not doing what he used to do?
I don't think he's doing what he used to do, and I don't know if that's injury part of that. Last year with the hand thing, this year with the growing thing. This is a White Sox theme that goes on where people have to change their swings or rehab in the major leagues, which is dumb. I think also part of why Liam Hendriks is on the IL because the White Sox like to have people rehab on the fly. As you guys said, he hasn't had a spring training. He had a couple starts down there or a couple of appearances down there in Charlotte, and then he comes back up here to the major leagues. Of course, things are going to happen. He has a partially torn UCL. After all, I think it's his 9th year pitching with it because he's a champion. But I would think that, and here's Jarrett Willis, our own Jarrett Willis, who was sitting in for Vinny. We'll have him on the post-game show. Rick Hahn spoke today. He says Rick Hahn described his injury as symptomatically similar to what sidelined Hendricks for about a month last season. So
that's worrisome too, because if it's recurring and it's maybe a nagging injury or something where they don't want to disclose, like, well, you're gonna. It's one of those things like, well, he needs surgery, but he's gonna put it off. And you hope it's not one of those things where they just try to keep on rest and rehab, and then hopefully it gets better. But you're just kicking the can down the road because it's something worse, but they don't want to fully disclose it. And he doesn't, because if Liam was like, well, I got cancer, but fuck it, I'm gonna fight and battle back. You would think a little tear is gonna stop him too. Like he's gonna keep on going until his arm falls off. And let's hope that someone in the Sox organization, if it's actually a lot worse than just soreness, that they take him and say, listen, you need to get this fixed. But it also sucks that this is, last year in his contract too here. So
yeah. And like you guys were saying with Pedro, somebody needs to be the grown-up in the room and tell these people hard things that they don't want to hear. Right. But sometimes you're the manager. You're the adult. You would say, hey, TA, you ain't playing today. Right. It's because you're hurt. We're trying to get you right. It's an off day tomorrow. We give you 2 full days of rest. And today, Pedro likes to sneak a guy in late in the game if the game is online. No, today, TA is off today. 100%. Get off your feet. Get your mind right, because yesterday, I could think for the first time that I thought, okay, it's not there. Right. It's not there. Even if you bobble that ball, you can't go home. The out was at second.
Oh yeah,
you could have started the double play, conceded the run, tie game, and had Joe Kelly have a little peace of mind. It's like, okay, there's a guy at third, cool, but we got 2 outs. I can pitch a little bit better. Now we go to the 9th. We can get shit done. But TA was off mentally and physically yesterday, so he gets the day off. So let's go to the starting lineups. We got a new guy who's been there before, who's done a good job. I think the other day he hit leadoff, and it's Clint Frazier. He got 2 walks the other day. He'll be playing right field. Yohan Moncada's up to the 2 slot with a lefty pitching. He'll be at third base. Luis Robert Jr. is in center field at third, in the third position. In cleanup, it's Andrew Vaughn. He's got our most RBIs. He'll be batting in the 4th spot at first base. The man, the myth, the legend, Jake Berger, designated hitter, hitting 5th. Andrew Benintendi will be dropped down to the 6th spot. He's in left field. Romy Gonzalez at 2nd. He'll be batting 7th. 8th will be Elvis Andrus batting, playing shortstop. And then Sebi Zavala of the 2 home run game versus the New York Yankees the other day will be taking up the slack for the White Sox at catcher. And here these sumbitches are. Tell me when I name the person, if you've heard of that person before this series started. Of course, Luis Ariz at second base. He's the leadoff hitter. Jorge Soler, former Cub and Royal great, designated hitter. The 3rd hitter, Brian De La Cruz, left field. Heard of this guy before this? No, neither. 4th, I mean, you might have heard him. He's coming back. Jesus Sanchez, right field.
Second coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And Garrett Cooper. They have a lot of Garretts, and we'll get to the other Garrett in a second. Garrett Cooper, first base. I've heard of him before.
Yeah.
Joey Wendell's a sixth base hitter. He's a shortstop. I heard of him because he was a Ray back in the day. Gene Sakura was a guy that I want the White Sox to go and get as a second baseman. He's playing third today, batting seventh. I never heard of Nick Fortes. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. He's the catcher today. And then Jonathan Davis, both the Korn lead singer, he's Q-Tip, and he'll be playing center field for the Marlins today, batting ninth. That lineup, I mean, the top of the lineup, formidable. I mean, you got the 17 home runs from Soler. You got Luis Ariz hitting 400, hitting everything he ever seen in the world. But then after that, you fall off the table. And with LG going to the bump, I see the White Sox should be shutting that lineup down for only 1-2 runs. What do you guys think of both the White Sox lineup today and the Marlins?
Doug, I'll let you go first.
You know what? It's refreshing to see somebody else throwing a Sunday lineup against our Sunday lineup. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm hoping that we do get that Lucas Giolito that we've seen lately or whatever, and hopefully he could just, bring that pitch count down a little bit, maybe get us to the 7th this time instead of the 6th. But I'll take the 6th out of any of our starting pitchers, and just keeping us in the game. That's what I'm looking for.
So I'll say, thank God Luis Ariz is not in the Central anymore. Like, get him the hell out of there. Don't want to see him anymore. Like, thank God he went to Miami. But I mean, batting 402, he's 90 hits in the season, leading MLB, which is also surprising that he doesn't lead MLB. I think Bo Bichette has like one more hit than him, but like in 60 more at bats. So like what he's doing this season is just amazing. Definitely he'll probably win the batting title this year. No, this lineup, you look at it though, it looks like a 4A lineup for Miami. You know, it's just but they won 8 of the last 10 games. They're batting as a team 262 in that time, so they're hitting decent. Their pitching's pretty damn good too. But I hope it's just normal Sunday lineup because I don't follow Miami. I don't follow South Florida baseball. I think who cares about Miami baseball? But I hope that this is another Sunday lineup for them against our Sunday lineup, and it's basically like watching preseason football, right? It's do our scrubs beat their scrubs? Let's get who's got the better lineup of scrubs in there. But it's Sox. Obviously hurting. We don't know Eloy again. Another leg injury for Eloy. Time is a flat circle.
As Peter says, Bloney Fonseca says, White Sox athletic trainers are about as trustworthy as Joe Kelly in the ninth.
I really would love to get my eyes on like the medical history of Eli. I don't know how that guy who's built like a Mack truck has so many leg injuries.
Don't say it too loud that he's injury prone because Rick Hahn will get mad at you even though the evidence is all in front of us. We've seen the man get hurt every single year. Every year. It's not like he's just running into bad luck. He gets hurt. He's injury prone.
Yeah.
Like, thank God he never played football. He would have been the Kevin White of the Chicago White Sox. Like, I mean, it's bad. But yeah. So the only thing that I like the lineup today, the only thing that kind of scares me, and I know we're going to talk pitching matchups here in a minute, but the Sox have never faced Braxton Garrett today. So I hope that it's either going to be one or two things. We're either going to mash the lefty or he's going to pitch 7 shutout innings. So but either way, let's get that W.
Yeah. There's a great super chat from Julie. Thank you, Herb, for having the bums over. Jason and Dougie, the studio looks good on yous.
That's right.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And you don't have to thank me. These guys are more than, done their jobs and built this up from grassroots. Like, that's why I like you guys. I like the 108. I like other people here. Like, we've got a studio here. So this thing is, this is our actual jobs. So we got to do this, cameras and shit like that. But you guys are actually doing this on the side and doing it well. And tell the people before we, go to the pitching matchups when they can catch you on the Bumcast.
Oh yeah. So Bumcast live every Monday night on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. You can follow us at Shy Sports Bums on Twitter, Instagram. So that way you can keep track of all of our, and at YouTube as well, at Shy Sports Bums. That way you subscribe, you follow us, you'll get notifications when we go live. But we like to mix a little, like talk and nonsense. Sometimes we don't like to go too sports heavy because there's so many White Sox podcasts, and the drum's been beat to death already about like how many White Sox. There's all the jokes like when the Sox have a bad game that 17 White Sox podcasts have gone bunk now. So, we don't try to get too analytical with our takes on sports. We try to keep it lighthearted. Sometimes we do some meatball takes, but we'd like to mix in some, pop culture, some nonsense. So if you like that, sometimes it's a car crash, and if you like that kind of stuff on live pod shows, then definitely give us a follow and check us out.
Cool. And let's get to the pitching matchup before we go to our clicks to pick. And then we're gonna have these two guys come behind you after before we wrap up the show, so you guys see the full scope of the bumness. Lucas Giolito, LGLG. That is a large game. Lucas Giolito. That is by Vinny Duber, trademarked. 74 and a third innings this year. 3.75 ERA, 65 hits, 76 strikeouts to 24 walks with a 1.15 ERA plus against the great Braxton Garrett. Who? 51 and a third exactly. Well, later on we'll see the 7 innings and no hit ball. Yeah. 4.47 ERA, 64 hits this year, 60 strikeouts to 12 walks with a 98 ERA plus. So he is just below average. What do you guys think? He's a lefty too, so normally you'll see White Sox while they're doing well crush a lefty. I think the last lefty they faced and actually crushed was Tyler Anderson of the Angels. What do you guys think the White Sox with their lineup today? No Tim. Let's see. No Eloy. What do you think the White Sox are going to do against the great Braxton Garrett?
They're going to make him look like a superstar. No, I'm hoping that they can grab a couple quick runs, get into that bullpen a little bit, just and then let the rain fall and let them call the game early.
Yeah, I when I saw the pitching, I was like it's the Conor McGregor meme. Like, who the fuck is Braxton Garrett? But I check out we're looking at the clicks to pick. I'm okay, who's got the best career stats against this guy? And no one's faced him. Yeah. So I'm like, God damn it! Like, it's a lefty, and they never faced the guy. So now he's gonna just do some low and outside sliders, and it's gonna be 7 innings of no run ball. And hopefully, I'm being facetious, kind of half joking, but let's hope that Lucas Giolito, LGLG, that the large game Lucas Giolito is put to sleep from day game Lucas Giolito, because we all know what happens when it's day game Lucas, and he's been better lately. So thank God it looks like he's got those bugaboos behind him. One thing I will say, it looks like career versus a rise versus Lucas Giolito, 729, 7 for 29, 241 average with 3 strikeouts. So hopefully Lucas can shut down a rise today. He doesn't give him that spark at the top of the lineup with his little slapdick baseballs that he always does. So let's get Lucas, shut him down at the top. And him and Soler too. Soler's batting .217 against Lucas. So you shut those two guys down. Marlins got shit today. It's just the Sox got to put up some runs and not have the the bugaboos from a new pitcher they haven't seen before.
All right, and as I wrap up the show, and these two gentlemen, Johnny and Peter, you can come around the back and so we can see all of our picks to click for the game. These two guys who will be joining us in the post game, it's Peter, who's the first person you'll see, and then Johnny. Hello. Yeah. So let's go to our picks to click, gentlemen. I'm gonna say for me, I'm going with Luis Robert Jr. because he's the White Sox best player usually. So I'm going to say that he's going to have a big day against this lefty, Braxton Garrett. I'm going to go to Johnny. Who do you got today? If you can yell into Dougie's mic real quick.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not going to kiss you or anything like that. Yeah, I'm going to go with Yohan Moncada. I think, he's going to – I'm going to predict a home run right here.
Oh, snap.
Yep.
Yo-yo bomb.
Yep.
And let's go with Dougie. What do you got?
I am also going to be predicting a home run, but not just a home run. The first home run of the season for your outfielder, Clint Frazier.
Oh, I thought you're going there.
No.
Oh, you're going there.
Benintendi ain't hitting a home run. He's going to hit like one home run the entire season. He's going to hit it at some random day in August, and that's going to be his one solo home run for the year.
All right, let's go with Peter back there into.
So yeah, I'm going power as well. Someone that we expected to have power hasn't shown it of late. Andrew Vaughn. I think Andrew Vaughn is my click to pick.
He's going with the Von Dong.
He hit a home run yesterday to right field, so maybe he can follow it up with another home run. Now, Jason, you're
I'm going to go with the man, the myth, the legend. That is Jake Berger. He's going to hit a smash burger today, and the Sox are going to win 3-2.
Okay. I don't know if they're going to win today. I know Lucas is going to go out there and deal. I think he's going to shut the Miami Marlins down. But Garrett Cooper, it seems, or God, I keep on saying Garrett Cooper. Garrett Cooper's the first baseman, right? Yeah. Braxton Garrett will shut down the White Sox for 7 innings, and then the White Sox will get some runs in the 8th or 9th inning against whoever reliever they put in. The White Sox win it 1-0. So for the post game, we'll have the 2 gentlemen in the back joining us. You know, might do a line change real quick if they want to have these 2 in the front. Whatever. It's my show right now. I'm on that show. Sean and Vinny are away, so we'll also have Jarrett Willis live from Guaranteed Rate Field, so join us then. And as Lucky Spag Shane says, smash that like button right now. Where are we at? 25. Who is that? Jim Tomey. Let's get up to Magliardonia's numbers on thumbs up. All right, guys. Yeah, Gary Cooper, super duper. All right. So, and also DraftKings, you had a bet. You're gonna go.
I'm going the under. The over under was 8.5 runs today. I'm definitely smashing that under.
I'm wrong today, Shea Vidal. Come on. 7-2. Who's showing up? The White Sox showing up? Okay. Join us in the post game, Shea Vidal. If you're right, I will give you an apology, but I think you're really wrong. Are the White Sox scoring this much runs in this cold weather? No, I don't think it's going to happen. So post game starts about 10 minutes after the game ends. So join us. Chicago Sports Bums, Herb Lawrence, CHGO White Sox. Peace out.